Hey everybody, and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV for Survivor. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We can't wait to dive into this week's episode.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
We always look at each other like, what's gonna happen?
What's gonna go on this episode? We don't even know. We got Mike Rippe back in the studio with us this week. We're so excited to have him. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody, this week for Survivor. So we're going to go through something a little different today since we missed last week. We're going to go with last week's episode for a little bit and then this week's episode for a little bit. We'll try not to spend too much time on it just so we can dive into this week for sure since that's what you guys just watched. But anyways, thanks so much for joining us. My name's Paige Bonanno. I'm your host. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Paige Bonanno. And I'm joined today by...
That's right. I'm back. It's good to be back. My name is Michael Rippe, and you can find me on social media at Mike Rips.
What's up, Paige? Good evening, Michael. My name is Jaco Vienings. You guys can find me all over social media at Jaco Vienings.
Yay!
Hey, let's do this.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Sorry we missed last week. Couldn't make it, but
Do not let it happen again.
Right.
So sorry.
We're gonna give you guys a great time tonight. A better episode. We'll dive into everything from episode 9 and then get into 10. And we'll see what we can come up with. So let's just, I guess, dive right into it. And if you already saw episode 9, you don't want to hear, you can just jump a little bit ahead maybe and then get right into episode 10. But we'll try not to take too long. All right, so episode 9, it's psychological warfare. And the episode was absolutely psychological warfare. Like, what was that all about? So we get back from camp and everybody's still reeling from, losing Nick. The guys are upset. They're pissed off that everyone went against them because they're the alpha males, right? So basically it's a girl power thing, and they just decide they're just going to make camp life miserable for everybody else at camp, right? They're going to take away their food, they're going to take away the machete and the axe. I mean, I feel like this is a total Jason and Scott move. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Very immature. I think everybody said it on the episode as well. Like, who does that? Man, yeah, you're taking away, it's a game, you have to play the game. But this is someone's livelihood. Like, you can get really sick, and Aubrey's saying somewhere like it's actually putting our lives on the line, which I don't know if that's completely true, but in some extent it is. I mean, you have to eat, right? You have to eat.
And they're out in the wilderness. This is 20 days in.
Right, and you're doing this to everybody. It's not just affecting, like, one person that blindsided you. You're affecting everybody. And basically, they're being poor sports. And
that's what Debbie said.
Yeah.
Which kind of hits really hard for Scott, especially because he's the sportsman.
Right.
Like, I mean, he needs to be almost an example. So poor sportsman is what you said, not a gentleman.
Right. I wonder what kind of player Scott was in the NBA. Because so far, I have not seen any type of sportsmanship from him. I mean, once he gets loyal to one person, he's loyal to them, which is great. Yes, for sure. Yeah, he is. Which is great. But, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I don't get it. And Ty, poor Ty's kind of just in here. He has really no choice. He's
but did you see how guilty he looked?
Yeah.
Like when they said, well, where's the knives? Oh, okay, I know what's going on. These guys have thrown them away, and Ty's sitting there.
I know.
He's just like shrugging his shoulders and
he's like,
guilty.
I can't control them, but this is no way to handle it.
And it's definitely a weird alliance, the Ty, Jason, Scott. You wouldn't put those three, Jason and Scott, but then Ty is like completely opposite almost.
That's what I'm saying.
To be teaming up with them. So it's a weird phenomenon in the game.
So weird. I would never expect him to be with those people, but I guess that's
But in his eyes, he's playing the game now.
Exactly, exactly. So then Scott gets so mad because it seems like the people are bragging. I don't remember what they were bragging about, but I remember him saying, oh, they're bragging. And so then he gets so mad that he literally pours out their fire. He goes, let's just end the speculation right here.
Idiot!
Like, okay?
Who does that?
Right.
Really? Who
pours
does that?
out
Seriously,
the
who
fire.
does that?
And Joe, so sweet. Why would you sabotage us like that? And he's like, or he says that, and then Scott goes, it's the game. Like, because Joe says it to Scott, and then Scott goes, you sabotage us. And he's like, hey, it's the game. I'm like, what's going on?
Exactly, it's a game. So why are you pouring water on the fire?
Right.
Yeah, no. I think there is such thing as sabotage, and there's a way to play it, but not putting out fire.
And he's like, Joe, you're the fire starter. You go ahead and start that fire again.
Such a jerk.
Since when were you and Joe fighting that this had to be an issue with Joe? You know what I'm saying?
just
No, so in this thing, they just want to cause trouble. So don't take it too hard,
Right.
Whatever they do right now in this scenario, they just want to make trouble.
Exactly.
So create drama.
It might not be an actual reflection of who they are, but it is probably.
Well, it's a total power struggle. It's just like their true colors come out, And I mean, even Sydney said, she's like, thank God that I did switch alliances because I don't want to be a part of this. And so then we kind of, you know, that whole thing happens at camp. Everyone's upset. They're all pissed. Then they go to reward challenge. And someone's given the option to switch to another team because they were like, if you can figure out which team if you can make the teams yourself.
Yeah, we don't have to do schoolyard pick.
We won't do it ourselves.
Exactly.
So, like, who's going to go over to the other side? Well, first of all, they said one person has to sit out. Who's that going to be? Joe volunteers. But then Joe gets to pick which side he thinks is going to win. And then if that team wins, then he gets to go on reward with them. Mm-hmm. But so then Julia instantly is like, I'll do it. Very quickly.
I thought she was doing it. I didn't see it come yet. Obviously, I mean, we know what happens, but I didn't see it as her trying to, you know, play in their favor. I just thought like, oh, I'll just do it. I thought she's doing everybody a favor.
Did you?
I did then, and obviously we know now that's not the case.
Right. I didn't really think that at the time.
Julia's sneaky.
She is sneaky, and she said that she's like, I think this is beneficial for me to be able to pull the boys in right now.
Yeah.
At this time, so yeah, I mean, she was right. But I mean, I don't know who it was, Debbie or no, not Debbie. She always believed her, but Sydney or someone was like, no, I see right through her. Like, she's full of BS.
Debbie was honest. Debbie said, I have nothing against you for picking the boys. You were doing everybody a favor. Somebody had to do it. Thank you.
Right.
Debbie fell for it.
Right, exactly. So then they get their... So anyways, the boys win with Julia. They get their Chinese reward, which looks amazing, by the way. And basically...
Wait, sorry.
Yeah.
Before we just go on there, did you guys see Julia's boobs flop all over the place?
Yeah.
I feel like we just have to mention that real quick.
She posted something on Instagram. I forget. It was like... In one episode, like, my boobs are falling out and, like, I get blurred for swearing or something. She's like, what's going on? But, yeah, so basically they're using this Chinese thing as a chance to recruit Julia. And she basically tells them, okay, you know, I'll play the field. I'll be on both sides. So we kind of see a little, you know, switch from Julia at that point. But, I mean, she knows that if she does get rid of the guys, then she's at the bottom of the girls' alliance, which is kind of why she decided to get on that, you know?
But why does she think that, though?
Because she probably is. I mean, Debbie and Aubrey were together.
It's way too early, I think, right now, because Michelle and Julia's together.
Yeah,
that's
Michelle
fine.
and Julia.
Anything can happen in this game that isn't set in stone. But what is set in stone is that nobody likes Jason and Scott and are against them.
That's true. And I mean, Julia is really good friends with Michelle, so I don't know why she automatically assumed that. And it's so easy just to get Aubrey or Joe over whoever, you know? Right. But, I mean, she also says that she wants to take them to the end. She would rather be with Scott and Jason at the end because she knows that nobody would vote for them.
That's starting to be a theme, too.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yep.
So anyways, so then we go into the fact that Debbie, you know, doesn't think that she'll flip, and she's totally trusting of Julia. And everybody else is like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
Debbie's fatal flaw.
Debbie's fatal flaw. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And, you know, Sydney's saying, hey, my BS rater's going like this. I don't like this girl.
Which is pretty accurate. We've noticed by now that Sydney's BS rater.
Yeah.
She's been on it.
Right. And so the thing was that Sydney didn't like was that, you know, Julia went to the boys and then right after that came and was like, okay, so what's our strategy for next tribal? You know, and she was like, that's not cool, you know. So they think that she's dangerous, thinking of maybe voting her out. Who knows? Yeah.
But so they speak to Julia about this strategy.
Yeah.
And what does she do?
They tell her, and she goes and tells them.
She goes and tells them.
Exactly. Immediately. So whose side is Julia really on?
She's literally playing both. Okay, so we won't say that because we're not there yet, but she's on Michelle's side, I think. Mm-hmm. Like, they are together. They vote together. But she is playing both sides.
Do you guys
She would
think
not
that
go
that's
against
smart?
Michelle.
Do you guys think that that's smart?
I think her game is evolving.
I think her game's pretty smart right now.
She's kind of going wherever she sees a path for her to go.
But she's pissing people off along the way.
She is. That's part of the...
Sydney and Aubrey.
Sydney and Aubrey, Jason, because she didn't vote with Jason and Scott tonight.
Down the road, yeah, that's going to come into play.
Well, now
Down
she
the
can
road,
go back
right.
with the
We're not there
girls. Now she has really no reason not to go back with the girls.
However, when we get to the next episode, we'll see, because they showed us previews for episode 11, which she's teaming up with Jason.
Yep.
Why did I miss that part? I was too busy thinking about who voted for who in the tribal. Okay. So then back to the whole we're going to wreak havoc on all of camp. Ty puts out the fire himself.
Sneaky
what was
little
that?
bastard. Sneaky.
But Ty, don't go to the dark
side. It's like, the dark side appeared
But
in
he
Ty.
felt so bad about it too, kind of. I'm like, Ty, like nobody would even hold that against him.
Yeah,
like if he got into the final, they'd be like, oh.
But he was so sweet about it. So he got up in the middle of the night, tiptoed like, little Santa Claus. But the thing is here, he's going to the dark side, yes. But this is him playing the game. This is him saying, "Hey, I need to do something to show the guys that I'm, loyal to them."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets up in the morning. Is there any embers left? Like, bitch, you put out that
But
fire.
he goes like this. He's like, "Is there any embers
Yeah,
left?
right, like, I'm
all
so
tired
cold."
and cold." And... Yes, sneaky.
He's kind of like, sometimes I think he's a good liar and sometimes I don't. But, I mean, we've seen that with the idols before.
No matter what, you think he's a great character for the show.
Oh, God,
Beautiful.
he's
So good.
great.
Perfect casting. Thank you, CBS.
Yeah.
What if, like, Ty, Aubrey... I feel like Ty and Aubrey could definitely be in the top 3.
Well, it's evolving. They might. I mean, we're down to 7.
What if it's like Ty, Aubrey, and Julia?
What did you mention earlier when we watched the show about Aubrey?
About her hair?
And about that as well. About the edit.
Oh, Aubrey for sure has a winner's edit. She's literally, I mean, ever since the beginning, they constantly show her. Like, she's the one that's always filling in the gaps for things. She's always on camera. She always has screen time, always talking.
Always talking.
I mean, maybe she's the only one that's very eloquent and they can, like, cut in with everything. But, I mean, she's pretty damn good.
She is pretty damn good. And you guys can let us know on hashtag ABTV Survivor. Let us know if you guys think that Aubrey has a winning edit.
All right. And the other thing that I mentioned about her hair was just, for our, like, crazy Survivor fans that know everything, are they allowed to brush on the island, like to brush their hair? Because I was saying, if I didn't have a brush, like my hair would literally be dreadlocks by the time I left.
So pretty.
So do they get a brush?
Right, and they have very nice looking.
Yeah, and her hair was like
No.
in perfect spiral curls, like it looked great. I mean, her hair's just naturally curly, but it looked pretty good.
They look pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
So
It's
throw
put
down in the
together.
comments.
Like she
Yeah.
definitely was
Yeah.
able to brush it or condition
Yeah.
it or something.
Right.
Let us know. Throw down in the comments right here on YouTube. We want to. We'd love to know your feedback.
Brush,
sure.
brush or no brush?
Brush or not? Okay. So also then we get to the immunity challenge, which is basically the blocks, the speed versus precision. And we kind of see this dynamic going. And Michelle actually gets to the end, and then she's one block away. And I thought that she was going to win immunity, and I was so excited for her. But she was one block short. Then Debbie falls, and then Julia wins. So
For
Julia
some
gets
reason, I'm
immunity.
blanking. What was the?
Julia
The
gets
domino
immunity.
effect,
The
too.
dominoes.
Oh, the dominoes on the swinging bridge.
Sorry,
okay.
this is last week. I just watched it, so
Yeah.
I have like a fresh mind.
yeah.
But yeah, so Julia gets the immunity
win.
idol, which is exactly what Aubrey did not want to happen.
Yes.
The one thing was that Julia should not get it.
Kind of funny for tonight as well, and Aubrey again exactly happened what she didn't want to
Right,
happen.
exactly.
But we'll get there. Sorry, I'm
Sorry,
jumping
guys.
ahead the whole time. Okay.
And then Debbie kind of digs a grave for herself by telling the plan right in front of Julia because she's so trusting. Her fatal flaw, as we said.
She said, "I'm not gonna." She also said earlier, "I'm not voting for Julia." So she obviously is.
Oh, yeah,
on
that's
the
right.
She's on the Julia wagon, which is, Debbie, and you're on this brains team.
Yeah, and
Come on.
she always was ahead of the curve. It seemed like, or she
Debbie.
knew she did this.
You would think if you know how to analyze water,
know?
you'd be able to make this decision.
Yeah.
The whole season, Debbie was on top of it, and then she missed right in front of her face. If you're watching, Debbie, you missed it.
You missed it, Deb. But that reminds me now that you say that, Jaco, is that Debbie and Aubrey were talking in the water, and she was like, let's vote for Julie. And she's like, absolutely not, right?
Yeah, no, I said if she's able to analyze water. I was making a joke,
No,
but
no,
nobody
no,
laughed.
but
So,
I laughed. But no, what
just
I'm
kidding.
saying with that is, though, remember when Julia and
but she
her-
was in the water.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay. Just making sure I'm thinking of the
No,
right thing.
you're on the spot on.
They're
Spot
laughing at
on.
home.
Yeah, everybody's laughing. And so Debbie says, no, absolutely not, but it didn't matter anyways because Julia
Yeah.
she didn't get booted. She got the immunity idol. Okay. Oh, no, you know who it was? Joe was the one because Aubrey went up to Joe and said, let's vote Debbie. Because she's a
And
loose
he's
cannon.
like,
He said,
yeah,
absolutely not,
absolutely
I won't do
not.
that.
He's
So
very
you-
loyal.
Yeah, he's very loyal too. So that's the thing, is that...
So we're back at camp now, the Dora camp. Okay.
Sorry, guys. So Debbie says that in front of Julia. Then Aubrey goes and says, hey, she's a loose cannon. I can't deal with her. Let's just cut her loose. And that's where we get the whole Debbie scenario from. So, yeah. So then they got a foursome. So at this point, I was like, okay, so we're done, right? Just tribal vote Debbie out, no big deal. But then we get this whole crazy situation with the immunity idols.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was your guys' initial reaction once Scott, they literally just yelled, oh, Ty's got the idol.
They threw a good form of kind of trickery, chaos into the whole voting process by saying that they both had the idols. They were going to combine for a super idol and then transferring it over.
But before they voted, they didn't say anything about the super idol. So the idea here was to say, I've got an idol, Ty's got an idol, and so's got an idol. So they're just going to leave it up to chance by rock, paper, scissors who's going to get voted out. So by saying that, it's irresponsible to vote for any of those three.
Because you don't know who.
You don't know, you're going to waste your vote because you don't know, so rather just go with what you want to do.
Yeah.
So now, after the votes were tallied, only then did they give the vote to the idol to Tai, and now Tai has a super idol, so he can save anybody afterwards. So they had this thing pre-figured out. They were never going to go on fate. It was all just a show.
It was
Right.
a smart show. Very smart. They played their power in that moment really well.
That beginning move of saying we both have idols and we're going to do a rock, paper, scissors to see who
Yeah.
leads was extremely clever because that made
clever.
everybody not vote for them.
It's very good.
But they were never going to do that.
It's a great point.
They were never gonna do
They were never going to do that
that.
because rock, paper, scissors. We're not going to here you go, Tai. Here's the idol. So now he's got the super idol and he
Right.
can save anybody. And you need both pieces to say, but you don't really need it
Sure.
at one person. But still that's just their plan.
So say that they hadn't done this, and then the girls were thinking of voting one of those people, and they didn't think to vote Debbie. I wonder who would they have switched on the last minute. Do you
They
know-
would have
does
switched
that
on
make sense?
Scott because I think they wanted Scott out.
But yeah,
I literally have no idea.
this is very confusing.
I just think they really thought this through, and it's really kudos to them.
That-
Wow, they
is
thought that
extremely
through very
great
good.
gameplay.
They
you have to
used-
give it to them.
They used a small advantage and turned it into a major
A
advantage
major
It's
advantage.
a major.
in that moment. It was a great play. It really was. Very clever.
I'm like
very
in
good play.
shock. I mean, I kind of I realized that afterwards, but they were so smart about it.
It was so clever too. It eliminated Debbie, and she had no idea. Right?
But
I
the
mean, she
thing is
wasn't-
like the guys didn't know that they were voting for Debbie. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Julia didn't tell them, right? No. The guys didn't know that they were voting for Debbie. So I wonder who would have gotten voted out had the girls not all voted for Debbie. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
that's okay. That's
Anyways,
okay.
so
It's good move.
yeah, so Debbie gets voted by Julia, Michelle, Aubrey, and Sydney, her whole alliance. Scott was voted by Debbie and Joe because they stuck together, and then Sydney, the guys all voted Sydney. Ty,
Yeah.
Jason, and Scott. So Debbie went home. So that's episode 9, guys, in a nutshell. Craziness.
One thing I wanted to mention here is so with Ty having both idols, if he had both idols and they went home and if he wanted to, and we'll see in the next episode when we talk about it, he could have kept that super idol, just not give anything back, and he would have had a one-way ticket to the final 3 because nobody will ever vote for him because they know he's going to save himself. So if he wanted to, he could have played the game, come back to camp and say, sorry, I'm just going to keep the idol. You can probably beat me up if you want to, but you guys are big, but I'm going to keep the super idol and nobody's going to vote for him because they know it, and he's going to save himself.
What?
I mean, that's interesting. They could have potentially voted for him and made him use the idol, though, right?
Yes,
that scenario?
yes. So in that scenario, they can vote for
Yeah,
him,
they
use the
would-
idol,
right.
Try
and
to
then the next
eliminate
time.
the idol,
But
but-
at this point, you've only got 7 people left,
tough.
or maybe 8, so it's
Yeah.
tough. You're only going to get, okay, it's going to be one of the 3, let him be one of the 3. We need to focus on the final 2 then. But he didn't do it because we're going to get to episode 10 now. Maybe we should play some. Can we get the
Survivor music
Survivor
again?
music going real quick?
What a
Yay!
good segue.
What a good segue. But wow.
Open the episode 10 page.
Hey guys, this is AFTERBUZZ TV. This is episode 10. I'm not here to make good friends, and we're the same hosts. I'm Paige.
I'm Michael.
I'm Jaco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us. So let's dive into episode 10 then. Yeah. So what do you guys think overall? What were your overall thoughts of this episode?
My overall thoughts on this episode is it's a pretty fast episode. Not a lot happening. The challenge is not that crazy.
Yeah.
However, the tribal had a nice little bow on it. Great episode because of that.
Yeah, I mean, tribal is really the heart of the episode. The challenge and reward very similar in ideas, kind of. So those were interesting.
Yeah, I agree that the whole episode at first wasn't very like crazy, right away, but tribal was good. So yeah, I guess we'll dive in from the beginning. So we get back from tribal, as we always start, and Scott's kind of talking about, hey, this could not have gone better. This was the cherry on top of the sundae. Like, the only thing that could have made it better is if Sydney would have gone home, but I'm not even worried about that right now. They were just so excited. They said, taking the machete, doing all that, it elicited fear. It worked. Debbie went home. We're all still together, and it was great for them. But then, getting back to camp, Ty says, hey, I just want to bring camp back together. I mean, typical Ty, right?
Yeah.
Like, exactly
Well,
the same thing.
not before it gives unfortunately, in our scenario, he gives the idol back to Jason.
That's right.
Yeah, so he gives the idol back to Jason.
So he could have just not given it back.
Yes, he couldn't have not.
But they would have like stole it out of his bag or
You're
something,
not,
couldn't they?
not allowed to.
You can't steal idol.
You can't steal idol. You're allowed to go through someone's bags and through his belongings, but you're not allowed to steal an idol. So to see if he has it or not.
But I feel like it was smarter on him to give it back and just play it cool because he probably wasn't thinking about it at that point. And then he doesn't get both of them mad at him. He only gets Jason mad at him at the end, you know, because Scott's already gone. You don't have to worry about him.
So definitely.
At this point, if you would have been at camp and you were like, no, I'm not giving it back, oh, all hell would have broke loose.
Yes. Yes.
So absolutely. I don't know. So then, what is this little dynamic between Scott and Aubrey? So he basically goes up to Aubrey and says, "Hey, we want Sydney gone. What do you think? What are you gonna do?" And she's like,
I mean, at the start, Scott is totally trying to get rid of Sydney at the start of the episode. I mean, that's his main focus.
They're bitter about that, though, right? About the whole Sydney thing. Why? I mean,
they're bitter because Sydney left
pissed.
them, kind of like left their.
But
group.
when exactly did that happen? That she left the group?
that was what I was trying to think. Sorry for
Yeah.
interrupting you. I was
No.
just trying to figure out why they are so adamant about it. Because she's obviously not on their side. But
Because it was Sydney, Scott, and Jason. It was the three of them.
Yeah, and I still
then
remember-
the merge happened, and I think during that first episode after the merge, she just didn't team up with them anymore, and so they took.
Yeah,
they got
because
offended.
she decided. Did she decide to start the Girls Alliance? She was one of the people
I think
that
she just
decided.
went along with it because she.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was,
you know where it happened? It happened with voting out Nick.
Right,
That's
right,
where it happened.
right.
Because
Yes.
she was the one that instigated the whole thing. Good job. We forgot to say that three episodes ago.
That's
remember?
true. That's true.
Sydney did the whole orchestrated Nick thing. So after that was done. So sorry, yeah, you were saying about.
Well, I mean, it's clear at the start that Scott wanted Sydney out. I
Nothing to do
mean,
with Sydney.
clearly she's got to go. And it's funny because he talked about. He also brings back at the start of the episode about how he's being a bigger person, and that he's talking bad about Sydney, but then he talks to Aubrey and trying to get her to come over. But it's interesting how he plays. On one hand, last episode he's causing chaos and an instigator and setting off, putting out the fire.
Sure.
And then this episode he's talking about how he's going to be the bigger person.
Yeah,
and
what?
It's kind of like he was playing both sides. It just
yeah.
depends.
I'm gonna be the bigger person.
That's what he
here.
said. He's going to be the
It's,
bigger
it's
person.
time to show maturity, is what he said.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
it's definitely time to show maturity, Scott.
It was time.
But
a
it
long
was
time
funny because Aubrey says like, "You get what I'm saying?" And Aubrey's like, "Yeah, I smell what you're stepping in."
Right,
It's funny, right?
Yeah.
She's so clever.
She's so clever, and she goes, "Hey, there's not a shot in hell that I'm going for this.
Not a shot in hell.
Not a shot in hell."
Exactly.
Aubrey.
No, Aubrey.
Aubrey. See, I was gonna say I was just about to say Aubrey's so loyal, but she did just completely turn her back against Abby. But it was in her best
It's
interest.
like feast or famine. At a certain point,
Yeah.
you have to, no matter what.
And
Like,
the thing is like Ty said, and the title says, "I'm not here to make good friends. This is a game." And I always forget that because I'd be so sad if someone didn't like me. Or they were
Ty said that?
yeah, Ty said that. But I'm like, hey,
Well,
it's
he
a game.
said it after Caleb left because they're best friends now.
Yeah, right? Aw.
They FaceTime every day, I think. is what
Ty is friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. I like the dynamic of after the rewards happen or after the immunity happens and the one person wins. And even the people that you don't think are getting along, they still go and give each other a hug. And it's just you kind of
Yeah, but
step back from
I
the
also
game
think
for
it's a little bit fake.
For show.
Yeah.
Definitely
For
think
show.
it's fake. Yeah, there's no way in this reward challenge that we're going to get to, well, almost, where Jason and Aubrey standing next to each other and they're saying these things and afterwards giving a hug. That's bullshit.
You think?
Yeah, of course.
But
'Cause
Jason
he
and
hates-
Aubrey never didn't get along.
That doesn't matter. Jason wants to vote Aubrey out.
But so what? He thinks that she's clever and she's a good person. I could think
He
that
also-
Mike's a great person, but want to vote him out because he's not going to.
I want to
do
vote
anything
Mike
for
out
me.
as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I made it back though this week.
Yeah.
true.
vote him out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was that fake.
Okay.
I don't know, guys.
I like it.
What do you think?
Yeah, let us know for sure.
Let
Let
us
us know in
know.
the comments.
All right, so we'll get into reward now. So basically, they're playing for 3 different things that they can choose from: food, love, or an advantage. So the food, big cheeseburger, beer,
Cheeseburger, chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, the cookies. It looks so good. Love, you get letters from your loved ones from home, or an advantage, which is a mystery, but Jeff says it will help you out. So then before we went into it, I was like, what would you guys pick?
And I said advantage for sure.
You said advantage too, right?
Shows us where we're
Absolutely
at. You know,
advantage,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're advantage.
Yeah.
I said advantage
Yeah.
too.
You
but
would do it? But at this
I
point in
did.
the game, the things that it's been going for the last few episodes, you have to
Right.
go for it.
I mean, love is sweet, like the
Yeah.
letters, that's cool, but that's
Cool.
just going to make you more
That's
emotional,
nonsense.
it feels like.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
I could see picking the food, because depending on how hungry you are as a person, Like you may be more hungry than someone else, and it may do good. Like that's an actual benefit there for sure.
So,
but advantage, you know.
Yeah, because like the week before, like Julia got the food, so she didn't really need it. You know, like Michelle hasn't gotten food in how long?
Right,
and that meal looked so good.
They don't show you how much each person is able to eat.
Right.
So I mean, you know, after 3 weeks, the food is a
Yeah.
big advantage in itself. I think it's just the mystery, right? That was like having you get an advantage and you're not sure what it is. Like it's really exciting to go for that.
I would want the advantage more than anything else, but you didn't know what everybody else was picking, so I would think, okay, everybody's going for advantage, and like Julia, she picked the letters. Nobody else really went for letters. That's probably why Joe picked it too.
No,
He's like, hey, nobody else is going for this.
It's
like,
interesting. I mean,
but I mean, 2 people went for the letters, 3 for the advantage, and 3 for the reward. It wasn't that big of a, or 4. You know,
no, it's 3, 3, and 2. And
3, 3, and 2. Yeah. So it wasn't that big of a difference.
I mean, and Julia won love, the love area, like immediately because Joe.
Poor Joe.
We have a few people on the comments here. Mary Dude says he would go for food. Eric says he would go to advantage. There's another 2 foods there. So a lot of the people on YouTube.
Well, I mean, food is an advantage too.
Food is an advantage.
Food is an advantage you know and you get right away.
Yeah,
so that's
true.
You know what I mean. You're getting that food.
But then again, you see Scott and Jason picking the food. They're just big guys. They're just hungry.
Right. But think
They're just
about, I
hungry.
mean, what he said last
my stomach is growling. I need to eat.
Right. What Jeff said last week, like, so Julia got the reward of food, and look where it got her. She got immunity. Like, it'll make you like stronger and feel better. You know.
Feed the soul. Feed the muscles.
I just wish Joe would have gotten the letters. I think Joe needed the letters. I love Joe. Let's just talk about Joe for 1 second.
Let's do, please.
So I love Joe, and I think like, I don't feel like it's a big, I don't think that it's a big deal that he's like not winning challenges though. I'm like, he's like 75. Like, could you be doing that when you're 75? Like, I feel bad that he falls out so quick every time, but it's expected. Like, he's old. Like, he's doing such a good job already.
I feel bad that he looks so strong but falls out quickly. Because in every single challenge, he basically falls out first.
Think about how Joe would be in this game when he was like 40. When he was like 35. Oh, prime.
Wow.
But Joe's kind of just coasting. That's a good point. Is Joe not coasting?
Listen, whatever he's doing, it's working because he's still in the game.
Nobody
It's not on anybody's chopping block.
No one.
He's kind of just in the background hanging out.
But the thing is, he's not doing anything.
He's not really doing too much.
He's not making
just
moves.
kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
Knowing how strong he looks, because that's not air, it's real muscles on his body. So looking at that, seeing how he's doing in the challenges, do you guys think that he's playing that weak old man? To stay off the chopping blocks. Like if he was performing and he looks like the Hulk and was doing it, people will be like, sorry. This guy is a threat. He's clever and all that.
The thing is I would buy that, but he does look like he's actually struggling a lot.
I mean, it's hard, right? I'm not 70. I can't speak to what it's like. At 70, we can only assume or think about it. I mean, he's doing great to be able to survive 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks now. In the
30
jungle.
days it's been.
And
almost.
so, and we don't know each challenge. We're not on the thing. So it's hard to speak to it. But, maybe he's playing it to his advantage a little bit. And if he is, he's smart about it. But whatever he's doing is working because he's made it this far and he's really kind of just like coasting in the background, not really. He's finishing towards the bottom of each challenge, but no one is even mentioning like, "Hey, we should get rid of him."
Yeah, he's not really saying anything about him.
He's just there and he keeps making it, which is a great strategy if you can do it.
Damn, Joe.
If you can do it, if you can do it, obviously. But what I want to see again is Joe interrogating somebody, like he interrogated what's his name, Peter. That's intense.
He has it.
We want to see some more FBI stuff.
Yeah, we like you, Joe.
I mean, maybe he's saving his energy for the last few and then he starts winning. I mean, you're like, wow, I can't,
Yeah, what if he just like wins all the challenges from here on out?
Yes, that'd be amazing. Joe. You know
what I mean? Like, maybe he's saving it for the last certain amount of time.
He is so strong, though. You can see on his body. Like, he's 100 times stronger than like Aubrey, and she pushes it to the end.
Aubrey's mental tough.
Yeah, she is.
She's mentally
She's got
tough.
it all there.
She's mentally tough.
We like you, Aubrey.
We do.
Damn. Okay.
So Julia Love, Michelle Food, Thai advantage.
Julia Love, Michelle Food, Thai advantage. Right. So that's who won each of those. And wasn't there someone that was really close? Oh, Aubrey and Ty. Right?
Aubrey and Jason.
Aubrey and Jason.
Yeah.
Thinking of the next
Aubrey.
one.
That was at the
That's the next one.
Right. Okay. So we got that. And so basically, hey, Scott and Jason didn't win anything, but they're like, most important thing is that Sydney didn't win. Advantage, Sydney didn't eat, and Sydney goes home. So they're like set on this, right?
Right.
So I mean,
and also, so we find out what Ty wins, right?
Yes.
So Ty wins advantage, and then he basically wins. He goes to the tree mail, and he finds out that he's got an extra vote that he can play any time up to when there's 5 players left. So that's not that much longer that he has that ability to play that.
so how do
two
you
more
play
episodes.
that?
2 more episodes.
Oh.
He's got 2 more episodes basically to play
going
that
up-
extra vote.
Going up to the podium, writing someone's name, putting it in, writing someone else's name, putting it in.
So he got a second
It's
vote.
a pretty powerful
It's a power-
advantage.
especially because he has 2 votes and nobody knows he has that second vote.
That's what I wanted to say. My guys at home, I was thinking why, or if Scott and Jason actually asked him, hey, so what was that advantage?
Right.
We didn't see that. And if they did ask, would he have told them?
Well, yeah.
That's like basically there's 2 of him because he could set up in the future a play where he could maybe get rid of he only needs another person or 2 and he already has a majority because he's got 2 votes and no one actually knows.
It's powerful stuff right there.
And he says it's a rich man's problem.
Yeah, right.
Ty.
He goes, I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
I love Ty.
Damn. Okay. All right. Yeah, so we see Michelle eats her burger, Ty gets that advantage, and Julie is kind of like, hey, these letters, you know, they're helping me to take a step back and really realize that, like, I'm here to play the game. And I feel like that emotional level, you know, she's crying. I feel like that would really get me.
Definitely.
So, I mean, I think that she has an advantage from that, too, you know.
Yeah.
So help me out with this now. So we go back to Julia. Basically, she's saying we can all vote Ty. Oh, okay. So she says we can all vote Ty. If Ty doesn't play the idol, then he goes home. If he does play it, Sydney goes home. So we're all good. So they're basically like, we're either going Ty or Sydney.
And
so
then
they don't care about Sydney anymore?
And the reason for that is to flush out the idols. They want to get rid
The
of
girl's
them.
idea is literally just get rid of these idols.
They don't
Sure.
want it hanging over
They
their
don't
head anymore.
exactly because
Yeah.
they can't even focus really on the game. They feel like with all these extra like scenarios of idols, it just congests everything.
Yeah.
So they just anything they can do to get rid of the idols is what their mindset is.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah, Mike, I like that because, yeah, it just congests everything.
Like it's like
That's
you can't
only
even
they
think
can-
about the game because it's like now there's this other part of the game.
Yeah.
It's like a derivative of the game. So
That's
But she
True.
also says she wants to stay loyal to the guys. So she is once again in the middle and has to do a
she's
power play.
trying to play
Both sides.
everything.
I think she's being smart, though. Like, sometimes I don't, like, love her. I mean, I like her, but sometimes I'm just like, you're being a little shady. But I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a game. Like, you should be.
Well, they're all playing. At this point, we see
Right.
Aubrey talking.
Aubrey's, playing.
Aubrey talks to Ty, and this is where she's trying to set up an alternative partnership. She floats the idea to Ty about something separate of the guys
Right.
at that point.
Oh, gosh.
And then Ty goes back and talks to Jason and Scott, and he says, hey, like, Aubrey has this idea, and Scott and Jason are so anti-Aubrey,
Sure.
remember?
Sure.
They're like, no, Aubrey, she played a good game, but she's out. And then Ty is kind of frustrated by the fact that it's kind of like Jason and Scott are running the ship, and he's
trumped him
just
the
kind
whole
of
time.
there.
Sure, yeah.
Which kind of sets up the rest of the episode when you think about it, because you could see in this moment where I bet if Ty had more say, it feels like Ty, he just says his things, and then kind of Jason and Scott
Like,
are like,
no,
sure,
no.
like,
No,
we're
no.
hearing you, but we're not actually listening to you and letting you
Yeah.
have a say. We're just going to say this is what we do, and you do it.
That's true,
That's
yeah.
how he feels. He says that, and
Yeah, he says,
it's bullying,
I
once
always
again.
participate, but I just have no say in any of this.
right, and he's saying they're kind of in control. So, and with smart, I think this is where Ty and Debbie differed, right? Because
Right.
Debbie kind of didn't recognize that area when it was time. Like,
Sure.
she gave away the information. She didn't recognize that, like, this is bad for me. Ty
Right.
recognizes, like, these guys I'm with them, but maybe I'm not really with them.
This train is going to derail
like,
soon.
I'm saying
So-
things and they're not really letting
Yeah.
me, they're
Yeah.
listening, but they're not putting it into action.
This could have been completely different maybe tonight. Have they, like, taken his...
If they're like, you know what, Ty, this is a great idea. Maybe Ty feels more committed to their
Sure.
partnership, and then he has a different reaction later in the game.
Right? Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, that's definitely a part of the game that
Absolutely.
Yeah.
because he clearly senses in that moment.
I'm not even that valued.
And one thing about Ty is clearly he's athletic. He's native to the country. He's good at it, but he's smart too. He's really smart.
And mentally tough.
Like, yeah,
Very.
he's always towards the end of challenges.
Sure.
He's
Won a couple immunities.
he's a complete player, and especially with the brains too. He's using his brain to think about things as well.
I like your points.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's good.
Ty. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Is this where Ty and Aubrey speak?
This
Yes.
is right about then,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, right.
Because
Yes.
Aubrey's trying to influence
Yeah.
Ty. Maybe there's something else, not just with them. And
Right.
And he says he likes
They both
Aubrey.
like each other, right?
At a certain
Yeah.
point, don't forget what she says about her and Ty.
Oh, the misconnection?
Right? One of your favorite parts.
Yeah, oh, my favorite part. She's like, me and Ty have been having like this misconnection on Craigslist all game.
When's
Like,
the last
that's
time you heard
hilarious.
anybody use misconnections on
from-
Craigslist?
Oh my god.
What is
Throwback.
that? What is that?
That was
what
like
is-
a part
okay.
of Craigslist.
So like on Craigslist, yeah, one of the categories is like misconnections, and people go on there and be like, I saw this guy in Starbucks, I love him. Like, hey, if you remember me,
like, and
It's
imagine,
like putting up a post-it
Yeah.
in like a.
but on Craigslist, like imagine that you just randomly would be like, I wonder if she wrote on misconnections,
This guy-
and you went to search
Right.
it. Like, is that me?
So
Like, who does that?
exciting, and that doesn't exist anymore.
yeah, do people really search
No,
those things anymore?
I honestly think
Did
we
you
got
guys
rid of
do?
it.
How long ago was
Like it'd be
this?
like,
Has
this guy has a
anybody
gray
used it?
shirt on with a tiger on it, and he has blue eyes and brown hair.
I
and,
know
and
it was meant
dimples.
to be.
Yeah, like I know it was meant to be. Call me at this number if you
like,
see this.
that guy went on at the same time.
Before
I was
Twitter.
Like, wait, that's me?
Yeah. Have we ever seen? Have you guys?
crazy.
Do you guys know of any cases
my
where this actually
goodness.
worked out?
No, but if you do, please tell us in
Yeah.
the comments. Any misconnections anywhere?
You
on
guys
Craigslist?
know that you do the misconnections thing all the time. You know that.
crazy.
I need to find some people in relationships that have come from misconnections on Craigslist.
It's incredible.
This is incredible.
But so-
Aubrey's references are spot on. Like the
Yes,
Oregon
very
Trail,
good.
the Craigslist, like the fajitas in a Mexican restaurant. Like
I smell what
everything.
you're stepping in.
Everything she says is hilarious. I'm like, she's smart and she's funny. She's got it all.
Right. And that brings us to basically they go to a immunity challenge. right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So they go to immunity challenge. They have to do the thing with their fingers.
Mhm, holding up the paddle.
Very tough. Yeah. I mean, you can think about it. If you straighten your arms, you can just lock your arms, and that's fine. I know that was out of screen, but
Right.
but these guys, you have to put the force on your fingertips to hold
Yeah.
that plate up.
So it's just your fingertips. So basically, yeah, you can't put enough pressure on your palms.
You can just like stand and lock your arms. Like, okay, I'm just. It's not far enough. It's a little bit too far, and you have to physically push both ends.
Right, that would
Yeah.
really like strain me. I feel like, and Jeff says, "Hey, your fingers literally go numb after like a little while."
And this lasted an hour and 15
Hour
minutes.
and 15 with Aubrey and
Jason.
Jason.
Yes.
Which so we fast forward, right? So you know they everyone else gets eliminated. It's down to Aubrey and Jason, and then there's a good moment in there where Jason's kind of using his I don't know if it's bullying, but he uses a tactic where he spits.
Yeah,
at-
his like
I'm tough. I'm gonna
tough.
spit, and then Aubrey copies him with a little spit,
That was
like as
hilarious.
just like that was great.
like
That
no,
was good.
I'm tough too.
And
that
then-
was good.
That was good. And then
So
Aubrey
sassy.
and then she throws out the comment that this guy gets through everything. Why wouldn't he get through this about Jason? Like
Right.
maybe to put it in his head that he's a little psychological. I thought that was a good comment right there.
Aubrey's smart.
That's what she's
Man, she pushed hard in that
and
challenge.
she did. Great job right
Yeah.
there.
She's winning respect all across
Absolutely.
the board
She
over
is.
here. Mm-hmm. And we
Damn, I was really pushing for her to win,
And then Jason won.
and then Jason won. Damn.
So Jason got immunity, so he knows that he's safe. And at that point, we hear something from Jason, which I immediately thought was something to watch, because he says, from here on out, we are unstoppable. Talking
Yes.
about him, Scott, and Ty.
Yes, he
because
said that.
now that was his exact statement. In that moment, I thought, well, this is going to come back to bite him.
Sure.
Because
Overconfident, that's
he
why.
said, he said that at reward or at
He said that
immunity.
after he won that,
after
because
one.
then he
We are unstoppable
Don't be
now.
so damn
Unstoppable.
cocky. Like I understand you just want immunity and stuff, but come on, like you're just gonna turn. People are not gonna. I mean, they already don't like you, but come on, dude. That's a
Paige
good
is
point.
angry tonight.
I am.
Gee whiz.
Gosh. All right. So
Rightfully so, though.
yeah,
Idiot.
like these guys.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And how much did I like Jason at the beginning?
No, you liked him.
A ton.
Yeah.
So anyways, so we get back and Julia's basically playing the double agent again. You know, the girls say what they're gonna do, and she basically says, "Hey, they're gonna vote for Ty." And the guys, which I thought was very interesting, were like, "Hey, it doesn't matter. Like at some point, we know we can't beat him, so we're gonna blindside him." So I was not even mad at Ty for what he did tonight
No.
because these guys didn't even want to stay with him in the first place. I mean, they wanted him now because it was to their advantage, but they didn't give a fuck.
I
about
really,
him.
I
Sorry.
really, no, that's great. I love you said that. Yeah, it's really going to come into play in the next episode, hopefully. If Julia, because he said that to Julia, right? So she has got the information. So hopefully, I hope that she tells Ty in the next episode. And then nobody cares about Jason
Right,
anymore.
exactly.
Well, yeah.
Well, I don't think Ty is on that alliance anymore now.
No, he's
He doesn't get-
done.
yeah,
It doesn't
Jason's
matter, but
done.
he will feel bad.
So
though.
Jason, yeah.
He will feel bad. And I don't want him to feel bad because he
Right.
did nothing wrong. He did the right thing.
So Jason's just gonna be out on the outskirts now. Nobody likes
Jason's
Jason.
in trouble.
He's in trouble.
Big trouble. I mean, the one thing that was rock solid the entire season so far was Jason and Scott.
Those two.
Those two were the one inseparable duo. And, you know, Caleb and Ty, it seemed like we're getting there, and then Caleb left us. But Jason and Scott, through thick and thin this game, were together. And now that's
broken, it's broken.
It's
done.
that changes.
Sorry.
Changes it. And that's a rough one for Jason.
Yeah.
So they're at Tribal, right?
So they're at Tribal, and basically, you know, the part where, so Aubrey says something about, we kind of know what's going on, or maybe we don't, whatever she said. And Jason says, you know, you should know we tried to make a deal with you. Just like straight up in front of everybody. He's like, you didn't say anything. I mean, I thought that was kind of weird. Like, I don't know.
Well, they've played the game in the previous Tribal. You'll see that as well. They played the game where they're open.
blunt.
Boasting,
Blunt. They say it
loudmouth.
And they did. What they said was like, we did tell you, you know, if you vote with us, then the camp will be all nice again. Everybody would be happy. And I guess she didn't go back to them.
And realistically, in this moment, the way Jason is feeling, he feels like he's on top of the world.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, he has the immunity idol. So, I mean, he knows he could say anything in this moment. So this is like perfect. This is Jason at like his finest, you know, feeling.
Finest hour.
Finest hour for Jason. Yeah, and then I love also when they're, you know, Jeff's asking all these questions and stuff. Jason says, hey, Ty has stepped up for our alliance time and time again. And I'm like, ooh.
And then Ty says, like, I'm committed to these guys. Like, you didn't say a lot tonight, Ty. And then he's like, well, you know, I'm committed to these guys.
He said that.
Ty said, I'm committed to these guys. So it was like, everybody's like shaking their heads like, yeah, okay, cool.
And
We're on
then-
the same page. Are we on the same page?
Also,
Paige?
Aubrey called
Right?
her. Aubrey was describing how immunity went and how she called herself a deranged llama.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny.
Loved that.
How
That's
she
great.
spit, yeah.
One interesting thing that Jason did say at the Tribal, he said that, I mean, we're in a great position now because now, and it's very true that he said, if everything went according to plan, he said, either they decide who they want to vote out of their own, or we decide.
Right.
And it's such a mind F.
Damn. Yep.
Do you want me to say the F word as well so you feel better?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Such a mind fuck.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
So this is also something. So they go do their votes. Anything you want to say about Tribal, about the questions and stuff before we go to the votes? Okay. So I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. So basically, the votes are read, and they're like, does anybody want to play Immunity Idol? And Julia's saying, play it, play it, play it. And Scott's saying, don't play it, don't play it, don't play it. Like, what was Ty supposed to do in this situation? And why was Julia telling him to play it?
I think, like what we said.
Just
I
to
think
flush out the idols. She didn't.
Right.
I agree.
Julia's idea is to get rid of the idol.
She doesn't want that hanging over her head or anybody's head.
Why was Julia the one to say, play it, play it? Why?
She's just playing the game.
I think she's playing, and her way of playing the game is just a little bit more aggressive. She's gonna put it out there. You know what I mean?
Which is, I didn't expect that.
But
So it's interesting to see.
I feel like Ty could maybe go against Julia now because she was trying to manipulate him to play the idol.
I think that's definitely a possibility. Definitely.
Yep. So anyways, then we see that, let's see what our votes were. So we had Ty, Scott, and Aubrey being voted for.
And then Julia saying, use the idol. Scott saying,
don't use it.
Don't use the idol.
Use the idol.
And then we see that Scott is the 9th person voted out of Survivor, and they're ready to play the Super Idol.
Can we just make quieted down, everybody? Like a Tribal, everybody gets quiet.
And we're ready to play
Everybody looks at each
Super
other.
Idol. And then, bam, Ty says, I'm not doing
Ty
this.
says
I'm
no.
done.
He even said sorry.
Sorry, dude, but no.
Sorry.
Thank God that Ty did that.
So
You know what?
smart.
He had to do that. I was gonna be so mad because I'm like, you shouldn't be giving your idol to somebody else that you don't even like. It's your idol. This
can
would be
do
a
it
$1 million
however.
mistake if you give him your idol.
Exactly. And he made the right choice. That's a great end.
That was the ultimate blind side because
Yeah.
it wasn't just I mean, like I thought Aubrey was going home going in, and then I didn't even have this idea in my head that this was a possibility.
Right.
And then Ty doing it. Not only was it great for, I mean, it's great for Ty, and it was great for his entire game, breaking up Jason and Scott, removing Scott. I mean, such a smart play.
Well, the thing that's interesting is, you know, at the Tribal last week that we just talked about, before they even did the votes, they all, you know, Jason stood up and he said, I'm giving Ty my idol, and Ty said, I accept your idol. They didn't do that tonight. But they didn't even ask Ty to do that, you know, because
They didn't think it was an option. They wouldn't even have to do it.
Yeah.
But so at that point, I mean, then Ty would have definitely said no, because then he would have 2 idols, which would have been amazing.
Yeah.
If he just said no, then that would have been crazy. If you had both idols,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not going to help you, sorry.
See, yeah, why didn't they do that in the first place like they did last week?
It doesn't really matter though, because now the idol is left with Scott, and anyway.
Scott leaves with the idol that was actually Jason's. So Jason had the idol for this
hashtag
this
pissed.
time, and now next week he gives it back. So basically, Ty is in complete command of the game.
Ty has the idol. Jason has no idol. Gave it to Scott.
He lost his partner in crime.
Lost his partner in crime. Lost the idol.
He's no longer sitting on the throne.
Damn, but
Jason is not on the
All
throne.
mojo gone.
And now,
Gone.
so next week's episode is going to be...
what is Jason gonna do next
Let's
week?
do predictions.
Yeah, let's do
Let's do
predictions.
predictions.
What is Jason gonna do next week?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, Jaco, what do you think?
What's Jason going to do next week? He's out for blood. He is out for revenge. So I think he's going to try to win every immunity challenge. That's going to be a strategy going forward. He's with Julia. Julia's just as, I guess they want to stick
He's
together.
never won an immunity challenge.
He hasn't, but he's going to, now it's
Jason?
life or death, because they will vote
Oh,
this
I'm
guy
thinking
out.
Jason. I was thinking Scott.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jason just won.
Oh, he just
I
won.
was saying Scott never won an immunity challenge.
Jason.
Yeah.
I think he's out. He's going to immunity challenge. I do think, though, that he's going to try and manipulate either Sydney maybe back in his team.
No way.
He's going to try. That's my prediction. We'll see. But she's too clever. We all know that.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what Jaco said about Jason trying to win every immunity challenge is pretty true.
He has no other choice.
No other choice. I think that Jason's going home next week.
I feel like it could either be very simple, like we know Jason's going home. Maybe there will be a little scramble just for the cameras, but Jason will go. Or I feel like something will happen. Julia might.
Let's just say Jason does win immunity. Who will go after him?
Ooh. Well, I think they showed us Jason and Julia look like they're going to talk and team up. And I think that if Jason wins...
Julia shady.
I just think
think
Julia
Julie-
would be stupid if she goes over to Jason now.
I think Julia and
Hey,
Jason...
there you answered your...
There you go. If it's not Jason, I'm going with Julia.
If it's not Jason, you're going with Julia.
Yeah, but I think Jason.
That's it. Yeah, I would say that. Or
I also think you should watch next week's episode, for sure.
yeah,
it's gonna
for
be
sure.
incredible.
I can't wait. We're excited. So tell us what you guys think on the comments. As always, thanks so much for joining us for AfterBuzz TV Survivor. Make sure to give us a like, a subscribe on our YouTube channel. Let us know how we're doing. Give us a rating. As always, thanks for joining us. I hope to see you guys next week. I'm your host, I'm Paige Bonanno. You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paige Bonanno. And my co-host...
And I am Michael Rippe, and you can follow me at Mike Rips on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm Jaco Vienings. You guys can follow me at Jaco Vienings all over social media.
Thank you guys. Have a
Bye.
good week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.